Ultimate glue guy.
You already picked.
Ultimate glue
You
guy.
already picked.
No. I'm switching up. I'm switching
No,
up.
you already went to the
I'm
podium and
swi-
you
I'm
said this
switching.
man's going.
I'm switching up. Give me Josh Hart.
Hold up. See, now everybody's throwing these damn curveballs. Bro, you just named who you wanted, and now you want to just
Well,
cheat.
no, because I
Austin
start.
Reeves is already walking up.
Because I
He's
started.
already walking up for the podium.
Because I started thinking about the necessity of the team, and let's be real, Josh Hart is better than Austin Reeves, and they do the same thing. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Feast or Fumble. I am your host, the real Chris Mack, here with my guys, Mr. Chino, Patty Puts, Pat looking sharp today, as usual. Sean, decked out in the Yankees gear. We already know what topics we're getting into today. It's all about baseball season. More importantly, them Yanks. Opening day coming up soon. Pat, how you feeling about this upcoming baseball season? It's rapidly approaching.
So I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously, super happy that baseball is back. I can't wait for the season to start. You know, spring training is fun, but it's not exactly the same thing. It's basically like the preseason in football. It's nice to pay attention to, but you're only kind of half really finding out what's going on. I'm feeling pretty good about the Yankees. I can say more recently that I am a bit slightly nervous, just because there's a lot going on with the team. A few players are a little dinged up, specifically, you know, their best pitcher, Garrett Cole. But you know, I'm going to stay on the positive train right now. There's a lot to be excited about. The lineup is absolutely stacked. From 1 through 9, you get no breaks. You know, we saw Giancarlo Stanton earlier this week. He hit 3 home runs and 8 RBIs in a single game. It's amazing to see him slim down and focus on his health. And I'm really, really excited to see him return to form. Maybe see that 30 to 40 home run guy again. And another thing that I'm really, really excited about, of course, is Soto. You know, coming from a different team, you don't really know what you're going to get out of a new player, and it's amazing how much a new jersey can change your opinion of a player. But the guy passes the eye test. He's hitting 325 with 4 home runs in spring training, and I think he's just going to be huge in the middle of that lineup, expecting 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. Sean, what do you think? What are you excited about?
Baseball is back, baby. Opening day next Thursday, the 28th. It's going to be a good one. Fun fact, best record on opening day is not the Yankees, unfortunately. It's actually our crosstown rivals, the New York Mets. They have the best opening day record ever at 41-21. But guess what? They suck and they're going to lose on opening day. So, the thing is, you know, we're kicking it off against, you know, as I guess it's like our rival, like our actual rival, where we cheated and beat us back in 2019, the Houston Astros. We're going to kick off the season in Houston. Valdez and Nestor getting an opening day stint. I thought we were going to see Stroh kind of step in because Garrett Cole was out, but you know, he didn't want to go outside of his schedule, so Nestor said, let's go, Super Mario time. I would say a couple things I'm thinking of that day is like in the end their winning streak. Can Nestor have a big game? He's struggled a little bit against the Astros, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to opening day. I'm excited about it. Spring training wise, Rodon, he looked good all spring. I know he had a little bit of a hiccup last game against the Phillies, but overall he looks healthy. Velocity looks up. You know, in his 4 games, he's 2-1. He pitched 15 innings, a high 2.93 ERA, 8.29 Ks per inning. You know, I think he looks good. He looks healthy again, like I mentioned. I think just going into the season, he just needs to utilize that cutter a little bit more. So, you know, I know he has some success when he stays away from, you know, fastball slider combo more often than not. So just mix it up a little bit, I think, for Rodon. Like you mentioned, man, Juan Soto advertised, man. That shimmy in the box. I love it, man. It's exciting. Just brings some swagger. I love it, man. He's been smashing the ball. He looks like he's having fun. We talked about it before. He has a relationship with Judge, which is awesome, and the rest of the team. So he's fitting right in with the culture. I said this before about him hitting two. I know there was that discrepancy, like, should he hit two or should Judge hit two? But I love him hitting in front of Judge. I think he's going to see a lot of pitches. Like you said, he's going to get some home runs. He's going to have a high 300 plus batting average. He's going to slug the hell out of the ball, especially at home. He's back on the East Coast. He had a lot of success when he was on the Nationals, obviously when he won the World Series. So, as advertised, I'm loving it. And I'm just going to plug a name here. We don't got to talk about it, but I'm going to plug Spencer Judge Jones. The dude is an animal. He's a clone of Aaron Judge, and he is ready very soon to step in and be one of our next outfielders for the Yankees. So, look forward to it.
Nice.
Sean,
Nice.
what do you think? Anything you're really concerned about going into the season? Obviously, Garrett Cole news with the injury is a huge deal. He may miss 2 months. Who's going to fill in?
Yeah, so obviously Snell's out, right? The only person out there right now is Jordan Montgomery, but I don't know what he's waiting for. I know we're closer to that luxury tax, and that's probably why we're a little hesitant to. We were hesitant to overpay for Snell, and now it's like we're kind of hesitant to like go out there and pay another pitcher. That's one of my worries. Like our only reliable pitcher is out for a few months. Like the best pitcher in baseball is out for a few months or more. Like it's not definite. Like they said, it's not a tear, but he's out 10 to 12 weeks. But obviously, we know that the Yankees' history is sometimes we're not very forthcoming when it comes to injuries and telling exactly what it is. So I'm leery on it. Right now, it looks like we got Nestor. The rotation is going to be Nestor, Carlos, Stroh, Clark, and then 5. Basically, Booney said he's going to figure it out. It's going to be like a competition. So is it either going to be Warren or Beater? Beater, 13 innings pitched in spring training, had a 3.46 ERA. Didn't have a lot of strikeouts per 9. Same thing with Warren in the sense of innings pitched. His ERA was a lot higher, almost 5. But he had a lot more Ks, 11.3 Ks per inning. So it's going to be one of those guys. I would love for it to be Gil, but I know that we're not going to rush him back. He has a lot of potential. I love that we're going to keep him on an inning cap and kind of not rush him into it, but I would love him to be the 5th. But in this case, it's going to be Warren or Beater, and we're going to play it by ear, basically how it looks right now, which is a little scary. The other thing I would say is, I said this to y'all before. When Gio Urshela was sitting out there, we could have went and got him, and we didn't. And now look where we're at, right? We have no backup plan at third base. The backup plan we had is actually hurt. So we had DJ, right? I said I wasn't excited about him being the only third baseman, but we had Oswald Peraza sitting behind him. But now he's out for the he's out for the beginning of the season. So now we have to have Oswaldo Cabrera be our third baseman. He's not a starting third baseman, and he hasn't been hitting well in the majors over the past 2 seasons. So I'm scared. I'm afraid of we don't have a backup plan, and I said that earlier. I said why? This is exactly why I wanted Gio Urshela. So that's kind of the 2 things that I'm worried about. How about you, Pat?
Yeah, I'm with you. I wrote down the exact 2 things, to be honest with you. Garrett Cole injury news is hugely concerning. The Cy Young favorite every single year that he's out there, and best pitcher in baseball, in our opinion. We're going to miss him for 2 months. There's no replacement option for a guy like that. So that's obviously really, really concerning. You touched on the pitchers that could be replacement options, but they're replacement options at best. We're hoping to get 500 ball out of these guys, not a 20-game winner like we expect out of Garrett Cole every year. Jordan Montgomery, I'm hearing that they reached out to him maybe like 3 days ago. He's asking for Aaron Nola money, which was a 7-year, $172 million contract, which is absurd. So the Yankees are doing the responsible thing and not signing that deal. So that's good to hear at least. And then you touched on the other point that we discussed, injuries. The Yankees don't have a ton of depth right now. Rizzo was scratched the other day. LeMahieu is dealing with injuries going into the season. And like you said, we just don't have a great backup option. On the projected opening day roster, we have Ozzy Cabrera, but then Kevin Smith is listed as the other utility player. And honestly, I don't really know who Kevin Smith is. So I do not really want. We need another option as a utility player, somebody that could come in, make an impact off the bench, play all around, and maybe get some base hits, some big time hits for us. So there are definitely some concerns, going into the season for the Yankees. So we'll see.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, he's not a major leaguer. Like he's not ready for the majors. But guess what? He's going to be forced to get at bats, and right now, what it's going to look like is Cabrera obviously is going to be our third baseman going into the season. Again, he has struggled over the past 2 years when he's gotten opportunities to consistently hit. I know he's going to be in the bottom of the lineup, but that hurts the bottom of the lineup. Like we needed strength in the bottom of the lineup, so now we have to adjust some things. So Boone's approach, man, we talked about Verdugo possibly leading off, but with DJ being out, he hasn't given Verdugo that opportunity. He's given it to Glober, which that means Glober's going to get the leadoff spot, right? And then that means Verdugo's going to bat. They're going to probably move John Tyler up, and then have Verdugo bat sixth. I'm thinking off the top of my head, and they're going to have Verdugo bat sixth. So our lineup's going to look differently than we projected. And I'm just worried about that third baseman position. Like, what are we gonna do? But we'll see. One thing I always say is baseball's a very long season, so I don't want us to overreact, but we got time. I still think that lineup-wise, even with just Juan Soto and Aaron Judge being at the top of that lineup, with Rizzo being healthy, people are gonna struggle.
Man, I feel like we got, for everybody that's super into Yankees talk, we got deep. We got into our bag right there. Little quick transition though. Now that we're talking about teams and then projections going into the postseason, who are you guys looking at as favorites in the AL and NL this season? I know particularly in the AL, since 2017, a team from Texas has represented in the AL, whether it's the Texans or the Houston Astros. I personally don't foresee that changing, but there's a lot of hype around the Yankees this season as one of the teams that can contend. Sean, give me your top team.
We know the answer to that. We know the answer to who my favorite is for the AL. And it may be a little biased, but listen, on paper, I love our chances. If we're healthy, our lineup is crazy. Again, with Garrett Cole, the best pitcher in baseball, at the top of our rotation. We literally have the same team as last year, again, if healthy, and you add in an MVP carrying Juan Soto who's going to smash the ball at home. That's a problem. And I think at this point in time, it's all or nothing at this point. The Steinbrenners, we've been saying the fans are not happy, and they went out and got Juan Soto like we wanted them to do. And, if we're healthy, we're going to dominate. I think our bullpen's going to be solid. I think our rotation is going to be solid with Garrett Cole at the top. So I love it. I'll just add, what's going to make us win the World Series this year is because the skipper, and Pat, I don't know if you saw him, but the skipper came out for a mound visit, full uniform, and took Rodon out of the game, Mr. Joe Torre. It was amazing to see that, and I think, that's going to bring us some good luck, and we're going to win the World Series this year. Just saying. What you got, Pat?
All right, unfortunately, you're going to be upset about this pick, but Chris gave me a great segue for this. I got the Houston Astros. I just think they're too good. They're stacked across the board in their lineup. I think their pitching is across the board a little better than the Yankees pitching, and good pitching beats good hitting in the playoffs. And that's always my concern when the Yankees stack up these lineups with great hitting. It's excellent. I love watching home runs. I love watching them score runs. But come playoff time, these teams tend to get beat by teams with really, really good pitching. So that's what I'm concerned about. The Houston Astros and their great pitching. Their rotation and their bullpen does it all. It's going to be too much, and they have big hitters in the middle of their lineup. That just don't quit. What do you got, Chris? What's your AL pick?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. Say what you want about Houston, but they've shown, especially the last few seasons, that they are championship caliber team, and they continue to make it back to the World Series. Scandals and all. So yeah, I don't foresee that changing very, anytime soon. If it's not the Houston Astros, I'd probably say the Rangers. So it's definitely going to be a team from Texas, though. I mean, they were there last year, and then could potentially make it again. So, kind of sucks for the Yanks. I know we just went on a whole diatribe about how the Yankees are potentially there and can make it back to the World Series. But if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And until they prove it, I wouldn't bet on the Yanks to get back there.
I'm just gonna say this. As we've seen over the past, we'll just say maybe 5 to 6 years, we've struggled to beat the Astros, but we've struggled to beat the Astros with just Aaron Judge. We added another superstar player, Juan Soto, which he's won a World Series. He did it in the playoffs. He's young. He's gonna do, and he's gonna hit in front of Judge, so he's gonna see a lot of good pitches. And then on top of that, I really do like the fact that we went out and got Verdugo, because at the end of the day, teams can have good pitching, but what we've struggled at is, to your point, Pat, like home run or nothing. But we've added guys that can get on base. Like Verdugo's going to be a solid middle of the lineup guy. If him and DJ being healthy can be those guys that get on base at the top and the middle of the middle of the lineup, I think we'll be good. Again, we're talking opening goals next week. We know baseball's a long season, so I agree with you. The Astros are, they're a solid freaking team, and we're going to see them first day. So, I'm not mad at that pick, but obviously I'm going to go with my Yanks. Obviously.
All right. Transitioning to the NL, Sean, I'll let you lead this one off. Who do you think is going to represent the NL in the World Series?
I'm going to keep this very short and sweet, because obviously I feel like this is like the thing right now, and the Dodgers, and because of one reason. Shohei. You add him to what the Dodgers already had, and he's arguably the best player in baseball right now. He is baseball, in my opinion. He's baseball right now. I know there's that scandal out now right now about the betting thing. It's like it feels like the modern day Pete Rose. It's like, were you betting on your own team and winning, and you tried to pull a card that you can't speak English? I don't know what I was doing. But you were there. When on the baseball field again, I just feel like the impact he's going to have on that team, the same team that was really, really, really good, and you add the best player in baseball, I don't see how you can't win the World Series, especially with that team. So that's my thoughts, Pat.
I think the only way to shut down that lineup is with really, really great pitching that like the Atlanta Braves have. So my pick for the NL is the Atlanta Braves. They're currently plus 700 to win the World Series. The Dodgers are at plus 450, so pretty significant favorites over everybody else. It's just the pitching staff, like I said, Spencer Strider, Charlie Morton. They added Chris Sale. They added, I believe, Craig Kimbrell as well to the back end. Oh no, that's not correct. But yeah, their pitching depth is the best. They have the reigning NL MVP in their lineup. It's just they're special. They're just waiting to get over the hump, and I think it's only a matter of time. And I think this is the year. Chris, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of that, Pat. I think the Atlanta Braves have the best shot of making it to World Series for the points that you just mentioned. NL MVP, and they have probably the deepest pitching roster in the league right now. and that's what wins you games in the playoffs. So give me them, and I will take the points. Uh, what are some sleeper teams that you think could possibly make it? We're going a lot off of like the odds and like the favorites to win. Vegas is rarely wrong about these things. Pat, what do you think? Who would you put a little money on to like make it?
So this is another tough take for me to say. Sean's probably gonna be pissed. I got the Baltimore Orioles. Last year, the Baltimore Orioles won the division. They're a good young team with a really strong core. They went out and got a top pitcher in Corbin Burns. They were the ones that went and got Craig Kimbrell to help out their bullpen. Like I said, they won the division last year, not the Yankees. The Yankees have a lot of injury concerns. I think they're an ascending team, and if they could make the playoffs again, I think they're going to be a dangerous team. They got swept by the Rangers last year. I think they were a little young, maybe a little inexperienced. And just with every single year, we're going to find that core get better and better, tighter and tighter, and win more and more. Sean, sorry. What do you got?
Listen, I'm not mad about it. I like the take. The Orioles are good. Listen, not just the Orioles, but the AL East, as we all know, that is the best division in baseball. It's the most competitive, and it's been that way for a long time. But yeah, I agree. The Orioles are going to be a very good team. I am a little worried about them. But for a sleeper, hear me higher. They are plus 1,500 or 15,000 to win the World Series. We're going with the Kansas City Royals. Yes. Hot. The heat is on, baby. And I say this for 3 reasons. Listen, I think that they've done a great job with adding some strong veterans to a young core. You got Seth Lugo coming in. You got Michael Wacha coming in. You got Will Smith. And then you got Hunter Renfroe coming in. All good, really good, solid hitters. And it just reminds me of when the Kansas City Royals won the World Series years ago. They had a team that was just solid at hitting, playing small ball, and I think that's what they've done here. And obviously, you add in that they extended their superstar in Wood Jr. 11-year, $288 million extension back in February. I think the piece that really stands out the most for me is when they made that trade to the Rangers and got Cole Ragans. I'm really big on that guy. I think that potentially he has the ability to be like an ace, like a stud, and be in those Cy Young conversations. Again, hot take, Royals, sleepers to win the World Series. You heard it here first. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. Those are some good pickups. I hope are you putting money down on Kansas City? Or just being curious here?
Yeah, I'm putting $5 on it today. Let's go.
$5 on it today? Okay.
15,000 to win the World Series. Let's go, baby.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm actually gonna go with a little safer of a sleeper pick. I'm gonna say the Texas Rangers, have them going back. They aren't the odds-on favorite to win, or get back this season. So. I feel like that's a little bit of a safer pick. They do things well that you need to do in the playoffs to win, which is like get on base, score runs, and have dominant pitching. So they play well at all facets of the game, and I think that they can do it again and get back. So that's my sleeper in AL. Moving to the NL, Sean, who you got representing as a sleeper?
So this one may not be as hot. They're plus 400 to win the World Series. Last season they did come out of nowhere. And this goes back to what I said earlier about like baseball being a long season. Arizona Diamondbacks, early last season, they really weren't really gelling. They weren't really doing good. And then all of a sudden they came out of nowhere, and we all saw the run that they had last season. I think that with them still having Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly at the top of the rotation, that you have your cornerstones in Corbin and Gabriel Moreno. I think they're going to be solid. And you think about the additions they had. They added Eduardo Rodriguez. They added Jock Peterson with some veteranship. I think that with keeping the same core and adding those few pieces, like you said, Pat, pitching. They have solid pitching, and they play small ball. They get on base. They score runs. I think they're the sleepers to win. If I had to be a betting man, what do you think, Pat?
So this one's not necessarily a huge sleeper because they've been fairly consistent and successful over the last few years. But the Philadelphia Phillies, obviously 2 years ago they went to the World Series. Last year they almost made it. But they have an extremely strong core of veteran players. Up and down the lineup, they have bangers. They hit a ton of home runs. Philadelphia's a great place to play, especially for them. They build their team around where they play. And I just think they're eventually, just like these other teams, they're eventually going to get over the hump, and that core is going to win 1 or 2 championships in the next few years. Chris, who you got?
Yeah, it's like you're reading my mind, Pat. I was going to go Philadelphia Phillies as a sleeper team. Veteran guys that have played in big games. I think the problem they ran into last season was a lot of what, most teams that hit a lot of home runs run into is like you're going for the home run and not necessarily getting guys on base. But yeah, I like them a lot. I do watch a lot of Phillies games. They're a fun team to watch, and like you said, Philly's a great place to play. So yeah, that's if I have $5 bet, I'm throwing it on the Phillies to go this year.
Yeah, I like that pick. It's solid. I think they're, like you said, Pat, one of those teams that right there at the hump. They just got to get over the hump. And I've been saying it for years now. Like what their opportunity is just bullpen. And if you really look at what they've done, they've addressed that. And I honestly think they might arguably have the best bullpen in baseball right now. So I could see it happening. Their bats went cold at the end of their run last season. And also bullpen didn't really help them. So they also ran into a hot team in the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that's here nor there. I think the Phillies are going to be good and fight for that. So solid picks.
Interesting. Baseball is here, baby. Transition. Basketball. Team USA. Fantasy lineup. If you had to pick 5 starters, 2 reserves for Team USA, who are you picking? Pat, we're going to you first. Coming in hot.
Alrighty, so we compiled this list of 2024 USA Basketball Men's National Team player pool as of 1/23. Everybody's got the list? Unfortunately for me, stupid Sean got the first overall pick. Chris got number 2, and I'm hiking up the rear. So we're going to do this in order, 1 through 3. We're going to pick our starting 5 and then 2 bench players. All right, Sean, kick it off. Number 1 overall pick.
Right, you already know the answer set. Write it down. Right answers. If any of us were going to pick first, obviously, and Michael Jordan's the GOAT, obviously, but we know who, if you're picking first, you know you're picking. LeBron James. What are we talking about? Just write it down. LeBron James, first pick. LeBron James, that's my pick. Brings a veteran leadership, has won a gold medal. He gets it. I need him leading my team. So, LeBron James.
Can't argue with that.
Cannot. I guess I got pick number 2. Just give me the chef, man. Give me Steph Curry. Greatest shooter alive. Possibly greatest shooter ever. I need him. I need them buckets. I need them clutch shots. Give me the chef.
Is this list right? Was Joel Embiid Board of America? I thought yep.
There was a little bit of a not a scandal, but whatever you want to call it, some friction because he had initially said he was going to play for France. And then changed his mind just recently to say, no, I'm going to play for Team USA. So I don't know if that was some influence from current players in the NBA right now, like, let's go win another gold medal. Don't go play for France because y'all not winning. So, yes, he is playing for USA.
Okay, with that being said, my number one overall pick is Joel Embiid. This is a no-brainer for me. Looking up and down this list, there's not too many bigs that have the kind of impact that Embiid has on the game, and he does it all. You know, he could score, he could pass, he's great defensively. He's got to be my big man in the middle. Put it on the board.
He's going to play for France, though.
He's not. He's American.
He is American for this conversation. America.
That was good. Sick. Alright, so then it's up to me, huh?
Yeah.
So Chris went guard. You went big.
Were we gonna snake it, or we were just gonna go 1 through 3?
No, we're not snaking it. I'm not trying to cheat here. Come on, man. That's tough. You know what? I'm gonna do some little strategy here. So with my second overall pick, I'm gonna go young and go with Jason Tatum.
Okay.
Obviously, 25 years old. Yeah, you both have said it. Arguably, top 10 player in the NBA. I need some youth. I need some skill that's going to be unmatched. And pairing with LeBron James, I think we'll be good. Chris, you're up.
That is a pretty tough first two players.
That is a pretty tough 2 first players. I am gonna go with the youth movement.
Ooh.
Arguably, maybe future face of the NBA? Question mark. The man from Minnesota, Ant-Man.
Yep.
Anthony Edwards at my second guard spot. Versatile, multi-level scorer, plays defense on our best players, athletic as hell, big time, highlight reel, and future's bright, man. Yeah, give me the Ant-Man.
Oh man, this is tough. Actually, can we go back and do it with a snake? Because I don't like this one.
Hey, you
there's
got
obviously so many good players. Like, it's ridiculous. So I am going to go with a veteran who's won before. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard as my second pick. 6'7", scorer, defense. Again, just somebody else that could do it all. And yeah, I'm very happy with the pick so far.
Okay. Kawhi. Go on. Defense. Okay, so since I went LeBron and then Jason, I am going to go with. We're sticking with strategy here, so I'm gonna go with Semi Mamba and my guy, one of my favorite players in the NBA, Mr. Booker. At the 2, brings that tenacity, brings that Mamba feel, like, and he gets to his spot, and that's why I love his game. So yeah, I'm gonna pair him. Let's go, Devin Booker at the 2.
Okay.
Threw a curveball at you. Chris was like, I was about to pick Devin Booker.
I wasn't gonna go all guard, front court. So that wasn't gonna happen.
You could.
I could. Yeah, for a little versatility, because we got Ant-Man as a defender, lockdown defender. Let's get a little more defense on the front end. He's a little bit older, but he's still like in that prime pocket. I'm gonna take PG, Paul George. Two-way player, can score, and still has a lot of juice on the defensive end. Can still lock you up defensively. Maybe not as well as like previous years, but yeah, he definitely, between him and Ant-Man being able to switch off, potentially play, your 2s, your 3s, that I think that'll be a good mix up there. So yeah, I'll take Paul George at number 3.
So looking at this list, there's not a ton of true power forwards on this list. So it's interesting. Like, I'm not sure where I would want to stick Kawhi, but with my next pick, it'll be much, much clearer because I'm going to go with Mr. Big, 6'10", one of the greatest scorers of all time, Kevin Durant. So basically, him and Kawhi are just going to be able to switch off spots and cover whoever they want. We're going to have no problem scoring buckets with this team, and we're going to be excellent defensively. So I'm going to go with KD.
Make that one. Alright. So you're going with the big, you're going with size over here. You got Kawhi, you got, okay, and then Chris point guards. So I'm going to say that my strategy may have worked out perfectly. I am going to go with, I heard this the other day that he is probably the best at scoring skill-wise in the NBA. Mr. Kyrie Irving. He's going to be running the point. Let's go. Mark it down, baby.
Your point guard is going to be a point guard who doesn't play point guard?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Because both my guards can play point guard. Just saying.
Okay. Fair enough.
You're just saying.
I think I'm gonna do. Okay. I could be wrong, but I didn't see Wimby on this list because he's gonna play for France. Haha, that's why. I'm gonna go.
You're gonna play with Joel Embiid.
Yeah, he's gonna play Joel and Wimby, Twin Towers. I'm gonna go. A little hybrid power forward center. Give me Anthony Davis. He's proven when he is healthy that he is a top 10 player in the NBA. He can switch off and guard multiple positions at his size. Legit, 6'10", almost 7 feet tall, and just gifted offensively around the basket. I think you pair him with Ant-Man, PG. That will give you sizable advantage on defense, being able to switch off and play multiple positions. So AD for me.
All right, it's my pick.
What you gonna do with that? What you gonna do, brother?
Okay, it might sound like a homer pick, but I don't really care. I need a point guard, and I want my favorite point guard. I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson. The guy is phenomenal. He's having a terrific year. We touch on it almost every week that we talk about the Knicks, just how amazing and how special he is. He is that guy. He got out of Dallas, and he was finally able to showcase his skills in New York, and he is doing it. He is making a name for himself on the biggest stage in the country. He's getting AT&T commercials. He's getting Dunkin' Donut commercials. He is killing it right now. I'm really, really happy for him because he seems like a really decent dude. So JB is going to be running the point for me.
Not mad at that pick at all.
I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not innocent. I had a couple strategies going on here. I was trying to save that first bench spot for Jalen, but obviously you swooped in and stole him. I thought he'd fall under the radar, but what was I thinking? I was thinking, I was trying to be crazy. But anywho, now I need a big. And looking at this list, I need somebody. It's the new NBA. I need somebody that can move. I need somebody that's going to run up and down the floor, especially with the team that I got. We're going with Bam at the center spot. 6'9", 225. He's young, plays defense, shot blocker. Oh, we're running. We are running. Let's go.
Goodness. So let me understand what your strategy is here. You're picking a point guard that doesn't play point guard, and then you're playing a center that is like shorter than most centers. That's what you're doing. That's your strategy. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2024.
Okay.
Obviously,
Positional.
I would love to get Joel Embiid, but obviously I can't pick Joel Embiid. So if you're looking at these centers, I'm not going with Jared Allen. I'm not going with Chet Holmgren. I'm going with Bam. I need a young guy that's going to run the floor. And listen, I have my veteran, and LeBron James can play point guard too. But to your point, listen to the see. I'm not, you trying to get me to explain my strategy to you.
No.
I feel like some hate
You
is
do.
coming on.
You
I feel some
do.
hate coming across the screen.
You do what you want to do, man.
Okay.
You pick your
Just saying.
squad. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the youth movement because I need a forward. You know, I got my veteran and Steph Curry. I got my defense. I need a banger. I need somebody that's gonna come in and just recklessly just like throw their body in there and grab boards and do the most. I'm gonna go with Pablo Blancaro at my power forward. This kid is an absolute beast. He does not care who is in front of him. He's going to challenge for putback dunks. He's going to challenge for rebounds. Made his first All-Star team this year and looks like he's going to be, in that spot for many years to come. So, and at 6'10", my lineup is looking a little beefy now with AD, Pablo in the front court. Come on, let's go.
Until he freaking English himself.
Well, that's always a possibility. I mean, that's why we got bench That's why we got bench players. We're doing 2 bench players too. So.
Alrighty, so my next pick, I have an interesting decision whether or not I want to go with the youth movement or if I want to go with a veteran presence. De'Aaron Fox is sitting there, Dame Lillard sitting there, Donovan Mitchell sitting there. For this squad, I want Donovan Mitchell. Give me Donovan Mitchell when he's healthy. He's a spectacular player. Pure scorer, plays both sides of the ball, excellent shooting guard, and he could play a little point if absolutely necessary. He just does everything great. And as we've mentioned, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a pretty tough squad heading into the playoffs this year as long as he comes back healthy and is able to do what he's capable of really doing.
The strategy worked. Yes. This was all a boy. No, who's gonna have a guy that doesn't want to play point guard? Yeah, for a specific reason. Because I was hoping that this man would be sitting to be able to be my first bench spot. And I thought Pat was going to do it right there. I had a feeling. I was like, all right, he's about to pick a point guard. Who's he going to go with? Listen, I need another point guard. And I need somebody that can hit a lot of threes.
Ding time.
Mark him in. 6-man. Veteran leadership. Point guard. And you know what time it is when the time comes. It's ding time. Mark him down. How do you like them apples now? No point guard. You get a point guard. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Fair enough. I'm gonna go, since we're doing bench spots. Let's see. Oh, we left my man sitting here. Nobody picked him up. The number 2 in Boston, Mr. Jaylen Brown. We're just gonna leave him by the wayside. Another 2-way player can come in, drop buckets, and is gonna play defense on pivotal wing player on the opposite team. Like it's a no-brainer, and he can switch and play some forward too. Give me Jaylen Brown. Easy money.
Excellent. What are you gonna do with that?
This is tough. This is a really tough spot because there's not too many bigs out there left, and I feel like I kind of need a backup center and somebody to back up Kawhi and Kevin Durant, just to play defense against those other bigs. It's a slim list. All right, I am gonna go with Jared Allen. I know it's a bit of a debatable pick, but I want a big off the bench that can specialize in defense. Going to give you a double-double every single night, and he plays every single night. The guy never misses any games. So stick him in the middle of my lineup for bench minutes, and I'll be happy with that.
Listen, I like Jared Allen. Well, I don't care what anybody says, and y'all know how I feel about the Cavs. So, yeah, I like that pick. I like Jared Allen. Solid. Just saying. This was a tough one because I only have one center. It's 2024, baby. LeBron can play center. So I need, and this is what I was hoping to happen with the last pick is I wanted a veteran that can play defense and score when needed, especially in crunch time. Mr. Jimmy Butler, mark it down. Another veteran can play defense, and if needed, he can score. And guess what he brings? Grittiness. Let's go. We're going playing against like Spain. It's just be smacking up people because he don't care. He don't care about nobody. Jimmy Buckets. Let's go. Mark it down. Chris is struggling. He's like, damn, that was my pick. What you got, Chris?
Oh man, that definitely wasn't my pick. Okay. Let's see. The last bench spot. Let's see. We need some versatility. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the names are a little bad once you get out of the some of the top picks. Let me see. Yeah, just so I get like a little bit more versatility. Might not be like the sexiest pick, but yeah, give me Austin Reeves from the Lakers. A guy that's like a glue guy, shoots the rock, plays defense, passes the rock. Actually, no. Give me. I'm gonna pick a homer. I'm gonna pick a homer pick now. Give me Mr. Josh Hart coming off the bench. Ultimate glue guy. Ultimate glue guy. No. I'm switching up.
You already went to the podium.
I'm switching up. Give me Josh Hart.
Hold up. Throwing these damn curveballs. No, you just named who you wanted, and now you want to just.
No, because I started.
Already walking up.
Because I started thinking about the necessity of the team, and let's be real, Josh Hart is better than Austin Reeves, and they do the same thing. Give me Josh Hart.
A lot of people on this list better than Austin Reeves. Come on,
yeah, there are.
What are you talking about here?
Yeah, there are. Listen, it's my team. I'm trying to fill my spots.
I think you lose a draft pick now. I love the pick. Yeah, the second pick.
Yeah, the second
now
one.
Now you lose a pick. Now you lose one. I think he loses a bench spot. So now you only get 6 players. You on with that, Pat? No?
No, it's fine. Especially because he picked Josh Hart instead of anyone else.
Exactly.
And I'm fine with it.
Homer pick. Josh Hart.
I need to start showing our boy some love. Mr. Triple Double lately. He's playing great. All right, for my final pick, I almost picked him last time. The guy is extremely impressive. He's 25 points a night. He's on a really, really underrated Sacramento Kings team. De'Aaron Fox playing behind Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell. He's going to be able to come in and do exactly what the other guys are going to be capable of doing. He played both guard positions. And yeah, you guys, your Team USA's would be smacked by mine. You guys are in big trouble.
First off, I thought you already picked De'Aaron Fox.
No, I went.
You did.
Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Jared Allen, De'Aaron Fox.
You mentioned him earlier. My bad.
You
Yeah,
mentioned just the
I love
mention.
Fox. I love it.
De'Aaron.
25 and like 8 or 9, like 8 assists a game. Like, man, dealing dude, man. Gets to a spot, kind of like how Devin Booker gets to that mid-range and just sweet. Now listen, either way, both y'all teams gonna lose to mine, so it doesn't matter. Team USA, Sean's bringing it home.
Yeah, read it off to me.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Are we all going through it? All right, so at the starting guard positions, we got Kyrie Irving, we got Devin Booker. Then at the forwards, center, because we got forwards, we don't have centers here. It's 2024. Jason Tatum, LeBron James, and Bam finishing out the top 5, my starters. And then coming off the bench, or possibly starting, Dame Lillard, Game Time, and Jimmy Buckets. Well-rounded team, man. We're hitting threes, we're playing defense, we're gritty, we can play one-on-one, we can play team ball, and obviously we have LeBron James. So, there's what you got. Recap.
I got the GOAT, Steph Curry. Number 2, Ant-Man. PG at my number 3. Pablo at the 4. AD at the 5. With my bench guys being Jaylen Brown and Mr. Josh Hart. Got some versatility, a little defense, a little offense. You know, it's gonna be a game. We're gonna bang you around for sure.
Yeah, Sean, your team's too small.
Okay, good. We are going to run. Even though I'm playing, we are going to run.
All right.
Let's go.
Listen, I think as far as like size of team, my starting lineup's bigger than both your guys. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to outmuscle you guys. Slow the game down, and then right when you're not expecting it, Steph's gonna drop 40. Like,
When my team is facing Chris's team, I'm starting Jared Allen over Kevin Durant. So I'm going to have 2 big centers. You're in trouble too, Chris. Sorry.
I mean, we're gonna see, man. I definitely went more with the youth movement than you guys did. So I have young guys in key positions.
Listen, I hear y'all size-wise. In my mind, I was thinking, I wish we had 8. Like, this is hard. This is hard to do, obviously, with the 3 of us picking, and then only picking 7. I feel like 8 would have been, like, perfect. Because then you would have had a backup guard, you would have a backup forward, backup center. Mm-hmm. But, listen, we run it. That was my mindset. That was a strategy going into it. We are running, and we're going to be small. Let's go. And we hit a lot of threes, too. Just saying.
Oh, my 8. I already got my 8 if I was picking one more.
Are we picking one more?
Yeah, I was going.
I'm kidding.
Is it Austin Reeves?
No, it's not Austin Reeves. You're never gonna let me. You're never gonna let me forget the Austin Reeves pickup.
Hey, no. Look at the guards that we haven't picked yet, and you want to tell me we're gonna pick him over? No. That you're going lightning in a bottle here, because I don't see. I'm not picking him over Tyler Hero. I'm picking him over James Harden. I'd take Alex Caruso. Just being honest. And then you got Desmond Bain.
Nah.
Yeah, Austin Reeves ain't on there for me.
He's not on there. We're not feeling the Austin Reeves.
Yeah. Chris Paul. I'd rather go veteran guard over Austin Reeves.
Chris Paul is getting doo-dooed on.
Nope.
Listen, it's about what the team needs, okay? So if I already have a Hall of Fame version of Trae Young, why am I going to put Trae Young on my bench? Like, you know, Trae Young tries to do his best Steph Curry impression. Like, that's just is what it is. So I don't need too much of that on one team. You know, what I do need is a glue guy, somebody can come in and do a little bit of everything. And if I'm looking at Tyler Hero, James Harden, whoever else you said, none of them do it as well as Austin Reeves does. I need a guy that's an all-star in his role, not an all-star player traded to another team.
We're ending this segment with that statement. Yeah, you're done. We're done talking.
I'm done? I'm done.
You cannot try to sell me on. I just named 7 people that are talent-wise better than Austin Reeves. And you try to tell me that he does better?
Because it's
Derek White, Stephen A. Smith hairline over Austin Reeves. Okay, out of here. Lightning in a bottle. That's what that is.
I would probably go Derek White, but no. I'm standing on it.
His hairline is better than freaking Austin Reeves, okay?
Derek White is also a starter though, like that gets a majority of his minutes on his team.
Yeah, this is Team USA. This is the best players on the planet. My bench are starters. That's just the way it works. This ain't the NBA, baby.
Listen,
you got the best players on the planet.
That's the problem, though, is like we're on a team where like everybody might be a star on their team that they play for, but now you're on a team of stars. So some people got to make sacrifices, man. You can't make your average on a team full of superstars. Like that's just the way it is. So I want a guy that already knows how to do that in their role that they play. Simple math, man.
You understand this. Listen, look at what we just did. Team USA is only one team, and we just split Team USA over 3 teams. And you mean to tell me Austin Reeves is making what we each picked 7 players? You're saying Austin Reeves is top 21 players in the NBA?
Nah, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying what I'm gonna need for my team to win. Okay, and I didn't pick Austin Reeves. I picked Josh Hart.
No, you picked Austin Reeves.
I dropped his name and what he is capable of doing, but I switched it.
Listen,
I had a last minute trade. A guy came and he brought the envelope and he was like, "Nah, man, you gotta switch this up." And then I picked I picked Josh Hart. Like that's how it went.
Austin Reeves got up, pegged his dad, and his girlfriend, and then started walking up, and then you just changed people.
You were like, nah. You gotta go back. You gotta go back.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh, I can't with this conversation. All right, so solid teams. I think all of our teams are pretty good. So yeah, definitely, we'll want to see who ends up making the Team USA this year. All of these guys are deserving. But sticking with basketball, we have our very own bracket challenge, feast or fumble style. Pat, you have the numbers. After the first day of games, first few days of games, where are we at record-wise?
Alrighty, so we had the 3 of us participating in the March Madness bracket. In the first round, Chris was in the lead with 21 points, with Sean in second with 20 points, and I was in third with 19 points. So far in the second round, I have the most points in the second round with 14. Sean has the second most with 12, and Chris has the third most with 6. So far through 2 rounds, I am in the lead with 33 points. Sean is in second with 32 points. And Chris is in third with 27 points. What did you guys see so far in the tournament that you were liking? Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
So I know we were talking about like how many brackets we were doing. I usually try to do a couple because obviously like sometimes I try to pick like some sleepers. And I think two that really stood out for me, not in this bracket, but in general, just seeing Grand Canyon. They're solid. I think they were, they had a little chip on their shoulder. I don't think they should have been a 12 seed, but they were. That's how it ended up. That's how the committee picked it. But I think they should have been maybe like a 10, stretching a 9. But granted, I had a good feeling that they were going to come out and show some good stuff. So I look forward to seeing what they do today. And then also Oakland, man. Like, dude, they look good. And listen, last night they fumbled the bag. I was watching that game. I had some money on it, but I was watching the game against North Carolina State. Like they were going both teams going back and forth. Really good game. But then the last possession of the game, it's 15 seconds. I think it was like 15 seconds left in the game. They turned the ball over. Tie game. Dylan. The Cinderella story ended because North Carolina State ended up beating them in overtime. But those were kind of the two like surprises that I really liked because I ended up picking them in my other bracket. So, Chris, what do you have?
Yeah, man. Every year the NCAA tournament just like basically reminds me like you can never predict like how these brackets are gonna go. I was surprised at like some of these games, but like more of like the Cinderella teams. So you got like Grand Canyon over St. Mary's. That was a really fun game to watch. And then also on the east side, Northwestern over Florida Atlantic. I watched that game as well. So just like I always like the fact when you have like the lower team bubble teams that aren't necessarily like big powerhouse names, where they can come and show you that they play like really good basketball. I think I did overreach a little bit. I had Texas pulling out over Tennessee, which basically was not going to happen. But it was a close matchup. I also went for, I'm trying to see where it was like a big upset. Colorado beating Florida, that like 7-10 matchup. I thought I could get a little parity there. I was going for the upset with Western Kentucky over Marquette. I think that was like a low IQ pick on that one for me too. But throughout my second round overall, I think you guys definitely had better pickups than me. So, but we're not out of it yet. I think there's a lot of ground I can make up on this bracket. But where do you see like you had some whiffs, Pat, on your brackets?
Unfortunately, I had quite a few. So you guys, first off, Sean, you made the Grand Canyon pick. Awesome pick. Chris, you had JMU over Wisconsin. Another awesome upset pick. I unfortunately didn't have any great upsets that worked out for me. I took Samford over Kansas in the first round, which was very, very close and almost won me a lot of money. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. And then I had Oregon winning 2 games in the tournament, and they just lost late last night in double overtime, which is a pretty brutal loss. So that's quite unfortunate. But the nice thing is we all still have our champions in our bracket. So like you said, Chris, we all still have the opportunity to win this thing. I'm really, really excited to see today's games. But from yesterday's games, you said it, Sean, Oakland was super impressive and really fun to watch. You find yourself rooting for teams like that. Jack Golke, who no one in the country except for in Oakland had ever heard of before this tournament, made a name for himself and might have made himself a job. He only hits threes, but who's to say that he can't come into an NBA team and just hit threes? You never know. Just try to get better and better and better. I know he's a limited player, but it was a really cool story, and I enjoyed following that one. Sean, what are you excited about today's game? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was gonna say with Golke, like I know in his interview before last night's game, he had said he's like, I'm not going to NBA, but I could play with these guys, and that's like a cool story to hear. Like a lot of these guys, if you really think about it, a lot of people don't make it to the NBA. Like they don't. I know in the NFL it's a little bit different because size of the team wise, there's more players that get to play. Where in the NBA it's a little limited. So a lot of these people, they don't go to the NBA and have success. They were talking about it in the North Carolina game, like Tyler Hansborough. Like he was a stud. And what's he doing right now? He's basically a radio announcer for a lot of these dudes don't make it to the NBA, and some of these dudes don't even want to go to the NBA. It's just like this is like it. And for him, like they were showing like his shot selection, like through his whole season, he had like 300 plus 3-point attempts versus like less than 100 2-point attempts. Like the dude just shoots a rock. Which 2-point, yeah, could that be something that translates to NBA? Yeah, 100%. Is he gonna go to NBA? Probably not. He looks like he could be a lawyer or something. I don't know. Probably what he's gonna end up doing. I don't know. But yeah, like stories like that, I love them. And I look forward to them. That's part of why I like March Madness, because anything can happen. And speaking of 2 games I'm looking forward to, or 2 wins possibly I'm looking forward to, is Grand Canyon, right? Either I'm going to take their money line or I'm going to do plus 6.5. And then this might be the hottest take. Utah State beating Purdue. Yes. Saw those eyes? I see your eyes. That's what I'm looking forward to. Those 2 games specifically. I think Purdue's overrated, but that's just me. So that's the 2 things I'm looking forward to. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the beginning. It's just like you can't really predict these things. 2 games I'm like looking forward to. Houston versus Texas A&M. I got Houston in my championship game, so I kind of I need them to keep riding the wave. Also Duke and James Madison. Normally I would be super big on Duke. I just don't think they have like the roster that they've had in previous seasons. We all know there's like storied history, and I think James Madison, even though they're a 12 seed, they're playing good basketball at the right time. So I'm definitely looking for a 12 over a 4 in that matchup. And there was one other, Clemson versus Baylor. I think that's going to be prime time, matchup. 2 solid teams. That's one thing that I've noticed about this tournament is there's a lot of teams that are playing a lot of good basketball at the right time. Which is why we're fans of it. Is like win or go home. And a lot of these margins of victories, like there hasn't really been like too many blowouts in the tournament so far. I mean, there's been a few, but it's just really solid, and it comes down to like 1 or 2 possessions at the end of the game. So sign me up. That's what I'm looking forward to. What do you got, Pat? What games are you looking forward to?
Chris, I'm totally with you. The game I got circled is JMU versus Duke. I don't know where this came from, but the last few years, James Madison has kind of established themselves as a pretty good NCAA sports college. Whether it's football or basketball, we've seen just drastic improvements, and they've been showing up on the national scale. In a situation like this, I always root for the underdog. I would love to see James Madison beat Duke. I think, just like you said, I think Duke's kind of a limited team. Even though they're solid, I don't think they have what it takes to win the championship. And then Baylor, Clemson, I have Baylor as a dark horse to win the entire thing. Honestly, I thought Clemson was going to lose in the first round. So I'm very, very intrigued by this matchup. I'm thinking I might be throwing a couple bucks on Baylor, but Clemson whooped up on me last time they played. So I'll have to do a little bit more research. But yeah, I'm just really, really excited for the slate of games. Sean, you just touched on Utah State for the win. They're currently going off at plus 455 odds, so that's something definitely to keep an eye on. $25 bet would pay out $140 about.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm not a big fan of Purdue. I think they're overrated. I don't think they have the guard play, especially when you think of how college basketball. When you get to March Madness, the deeper you get into the bracket, the better your guards need to play. and I don't think they'll have it. So yeah, and again, even if I didn't take Utah State money line, I know we're gonna get into some bets later, but plus 11.5. I'm down to take that. So, the other thing I'd say about JMU, you make a lot of good points. They have been solid over the years in both sports, and they had success. Just a fun fact, they haven't lost a game since January 27th. So, Duke can be beat. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. Well, some good games today. Again, we're getting deeper into the bracket, so these games are going to be solid. I do feel like there's going to be some upsets, as I've mentioned. I forgot to mention, Colorado. I think Colorado could beat Marquette too. So, good games today. I'm going to be chilling and watching. So,
I'm going to be sitting around the couch most of the day. I like it. So, transitioning to our favorite segment. Is it Feast or is it Fumble? Mr. Chino, what do you got for us today?
All right. Yeah, we're going to do some transitioning. I know we talked a lot about baseball and basketball, but let's go back to a little bit of football. So we had some news that came out past couple days in the sense of two things. So first, Netflix is going to feature NFL stars Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and other receivers in their receiver docuseries. Are you feasting on it? Or are you fumbling on it? Pat, what you got?
I'm feasting on this. I love that they're doing this, honestly. I don't know if you guys have checked it out yet, but there's the Netflix special about the golfers, and they do an excellent job with that. This is just kind of what they're doing right now. They're giving us a ton of insight into what these professional athletes go through day in and day out, and it's really, really cool. Honestly, it's cool to get to see the players as people. It's cool to see the grind that they have to go through to be the special athletes that they are. And honestly, it just kind of makes you root for them a little bit more, knowing their backstory and all that sort of stuff. So I'm feasting on this. I'm gonna try to watch all of them as they come out. What do you got, Chris?
Yeah, I'm feasting on it as well. We all seemingly like to, pearl back the curtain and see the wizard and find out like the inner workings of the different sports things that we like to watch. I know the NBA is doing something similar with year 4 guys having Ant-Man or having Shea do little pieces on how they life is in the NBA, and we don't live those lives, so anytime we can get a little bit of insight into what professional athletes have to go through, we're all in. And not for nothing, Netflix does put out very, very good docuseries. I just finished watching the Woodstock one recently, and I was actually alive during the Woodstock '99, so I was I didn't even know this was going on when I was in high school to find out that there were people actually going through this at 17, 18 years old is kind of crazy. But yeah, just like you, Pat, I'm tuned in. I'm probably gonna watch all of them when they come out, and get some insight.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all on the same page. I'm feasting on it as well. I know I mentioned Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson, but it is slated to also include George Kittle, Debo Samuel, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then also, after this, they're going to do quarterbacks as well. So, they did quarterbacks. But I look forward to seeing, maybe they start doing other positions like linemen and D-backs and linebackers, what's the day in the life look like? And I think, where we're at now, fans spend so much time following players just for betting purposes or as fans, but sometimes it's we get pissed off when, a player doesn't hit the bet that they were supposed to or get over this many yards. They're people too. And being able to see a day in the life of what they actually go through day in and day out, it's a grind. And to be front center for that, I'm all for it. So I'm with it. Let's feast on it. Staying in that.
Hold on, John. I want to see the offensive linemen and defensive linemen, their diets, the amount of food that they take in. Like, I want to see their bodies being upkept. You know?
I would actually
Thousands.
I would actually like to see them maybe do it like together, do like offensive, defensive linemen as like one episode, and then call it the trenches, because that's where a lot of the battle in football takes place, is like on the offensive and defensive line.
Yeah. I follow. Obviously, I'm a Raiders fan, so I do follow Max Crosby closely. Like, this dude, 24/7. Like, he was talking about, he was in the gym after the Super Bowl, the day after the Super Bowl. He was in the gym, like at the facility, working out with the guys. So, like, to your point, Pat, I'd love to see their diet. I'd love to see their day and day. Like I can't wait to see an Aaron Donald docuseries, because, dude, if you see some clips of him of like just mic'd up, like, he's in the zone. And he had an interview the other day where he just, I kind of alluded to this when it happened. I was just like, man, I feel like he's not motivated anymore. Like, he doesn't want to do it. And he had said that. He said, like, I'm over the grind of it. Like, I'm over, like, getting right back into it and grinding through it. Like, I'm over that lifestyle. Like, I'm good with where I'm at. I'm at peace. So, again, I think overall, it was a great opportunity for us to take a peek into, like, professional athletes' lives, because on the surface, everyone, the normal fan just thinks, oh, this dude didn't win me my parlay, or he sucks, he can't catch, or blase, and we don't look at it like these dudes put in freaking work.
I think
look forward to it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the complaint that professional athletes have overall. It's never like playing the game, or like, in NFL, the Sundays. It's like everything that leads up to Sunday. So all the reps, all the diets, all the traveling, all, putting your body on the line. Like, I think in any sport, like, nobody minds playing the game. It's always about the preparation.
100%. It's the work that you put in. So keeping on the same topic in the sense of NFL, so we had some rule changes, some proposed ones, some that may happen, some that may not, but two that kind of stand out were the hip tackle, right? So that's being proposed. First offense is, I believe, like a $10,000 fine, and it's a penalty, 15-yard penalty. That is going to be implemented next season. And then flip side of that is the tush push is not going away. It is staying. So feast or fumble on these rule changes. Chris, start with you.
Just real quick, the hip drop tackle. Can we specify what that is exactly?
So it's when a defender basically goes to tackle somebody and then puts all their weight, so they basically come off the ground and put all their weight into that tackle. That's what a hip drop tackle is. It's the reason it's being implemented is essentially kind of similar to the horse collar. It causes so many injuries, and I guess, based on the competition committee, they've seen an uptick in injuries from that, which we've seen as well. But I think it's an attempt to make the game safer, because if you really think about it, we're talking about an NFL athlete, like a linebacker is going to tackle you, and they're putting, in an instance, like instantly putting 250 pounds on a running back that's going through a motion of trying to break a tackle. People get injured from that, so they're banning that tackle.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm feasting on the rules changes, especially when it comes to tackling. We've seen over the years a lot of different types of, maneuvers that were causing injuries. Hell, if we look at just like the 2000s alone, between like the horse collar, where, hitting guys below the legs, a multitude of different things. The game has definitely overall, not leading with the crown of your head, like a lot of different rules changes has helped improve not only the speed of the game, but it's also improved like the watchability. It's definitely more of an offensive focused league. We might complain sometimes like, oh, they're taking all the hitting out of football, but no, it's like to our point earlier, these are people and they do have lives outside of the game, and for their long-term health, a lot of these improvements need to happen so that they can continue and lead lives after football. So yeah, I'm feasting on that. And then the tush push, I mean, literally any team can do this move. It's not limited to just the Eagles doing it. They just happen to have had the best personnel to do the move for, a number of seasons now. So yeah, I'm glad that they're keeping it in. And let's get some more first downs on short yardage. We'll see if other teams start implementing and adopting it. But, only time will tell.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you there. I'm feasting on both of these rule changes. The hip drop tackle, I believe it was this year, it was the Mark Andrews hit in the Baltimore Ravens game, and that was the perfect example. If you go watch that clip, that's exactly what they're talking about. And Sean brought up a great point where it's, 250, 270 pounds men hanging off your body, and then they're trying to rip you towards the ground, too, so it's even more force. So it's just... human beings aren't supposed to be pulled in that direction like that, and you see the tendons and the bones, and they just start to go. So I absolutely agree with trying to clean up the game, trying to make it as safe as possible. Chris, you just mentioned people have lives outside of sports, and people are going to have lives after football. So it's really, really important that they're able to carry their lives on in at least a semi-healthy state and not suffer the rest of their lives. The tush push, I am very happy that they kept it in. I don't feel like the Eagles should be, penalized for them being very, very good at something. I think this year's going to be interesting because I think one of the hugest reasons the tush push was so successful was Jason Kelce, and Jason Kelce retired. So now, what do? Is the next center going to be able to get that low? And is Jalen Hurts going to be able to push from behind? So it could be totally different. We could be looking at like a 2-year wonder with the Eagles, and next year they won't be as good at it. But like I said, they shouldn't be penalized for perfecting something. I think that's very silly. I'm feasting on this.
Yeah, I think it's another one that we're all in agreement. I think at the end of the day, the NFL is entertainment, but again, we have professional athletes, but they're also human beings, and the average career in the NFL is 3 to 4 years. So after that, what are they supposed to do? We were just talking about college basketball, where some of these guys, they won't make it to the NBA. They have careers just like we have careers. So I'm feasting on the tackle. Eliminating that tackle. Same sentiments in regards to the tush push as well. It's like, just because the Eagles are really good at it, why are we going to get rid of it? Other teams do it. They just don't have the success that others do. I think at the end of the day, the defense, get better with stopping it.
Yep.
That's it. Point blank, period. And just to specify, because you had asked about it, Chris, but the verbiage behind the hip drop tackle is if the defender grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms and unweights himself by swiveling or dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on or trapping the runner's legs or below the knee, results in the 15-yard penalty, automatic first down, and it's automatic fine for first offense.
Okay.
And then obviously I believe it's after the first offense the fines increase.
So it's basically like the defensive player utilizing their leverage when they're going down to drag the runner down. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, rather than tackling them or hitting them, it's like grabbing them and then just taking their whole weight off the ground.
Yeah.
And trying to swivel them to, like Pat said, in the opposite direction that they're going.
Right.
So that's what I got.
Nice.
Sounds like we're feasting today.
We're all feasting today. Hopefully we're feasting on our next segment, which has also become a very, very popular segment for us, is Best Bets with Patty Puts. Pat, what do we need to put money down on today?
Alrighty. So I got a few for you guys today. Actually, I had two coming into the call, and Sean just inspired me for a third. Thanks, Sean. It's not like I have a betting problem or anything like that, but damn it. But let's move on. Let's move on.
We'll see.
So my My best bet of the day, it's one of Chris's favorite players, Ant Edwards in Minnesota. They are playing in Minnesota against the Golden State Warriors. Right now, you could get them for -2.5. The Timberwolves are playing extremely well, and Ant is basically carrying them. He's doing exactly what you guys thought he was going to do. He took that next step up, and he's becoming that guy. He's becoming that face of the NBA. He is a show every single night that he plays a game. I love watching him play, so I'm going to hammer the T-Wolves -2.5 today. For my second bet, we're going to jump over to the NHL. We're going to do a little NHL money line parlay. Today, the Washington Capitals are playing at home against the Winnipeg Jets. The Washington Capitals are 4-2-1, and they're playing extremely hard to get into playoff position. Right now, I believe they're 1 point on the outside looking in. Charlie Lindgren is playing very, very well for them as a goaltender, and I just like the way that they're playing, and especially at home. They have a great home record. The second bet in that one is going to be the Colorado Avalanche money line. They're just purely a dominant team facing an inferior opponent, hammer it. And finally, the last leg of that one is Tampa Bay Lightning money line. This one's a little bit more difficult just because Tampa's on the West Coast in the middle of a pretty difficult West Coast trip. But again, this is just a situation where a superior team is traveling to face an inferior team, and it's just too much for the poorer team to handle it. So we're going to do the Caps money line, Avs money line, Lightning money line. Should come in at around +350. And finally, John's lotto ticket of the day that he just gave me. So we're going to throw 10, 15, maybe $20 on this one, see how it goes. We're going to go Utah State money line, James Madison money line, and Colorado money line. Okay? If you throw $20 on that on DraftKings right now, it would pay out $952. So I know $20 is, $20 sucks. Losing $20 sucks sometimes, excuse me. But the opportunity to win $1,000 just on 3 basketball games is pretty rare. So that would be really, really nice coup if we could win that one.
Let's go.
Listen, betting has just added a whole nother dynamic to sports, and I am here for it. I am here for
Show
it.
me the money.
Show me the money. Appreciate it. Final thoughts, guys. Anything? Sean, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, just looking forward to these games. They're all good games. I would say probably all of them except maybe. I think UConn is too good for Northwestern. I don't think it's going to be a close game. But I think all the other games are going to be really close. So, yeah, I look forward to today. Good slate of games.
Pat?
Yep, same here. Just a great slate of games. March Madness is a pretty special time. A lot of college kids playing for, the opportunity of a lifetime. So it's really, really exciting. A lot of emotions. You saw, some favorite teams that lost. Kids were crying on the bench. It's a pretty crazy time.
Yep.
So it is must-see TV, and today's game specifically should be excellent. But more than that, I'm looking forward to the first week of baseball. Let's go. Baseball is here. I want to see the Yankees, beat up on some teams and score lots and lots of runs. So I'm just ready for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. And to you guys' points earlier, like a lot of these guys that are playing in the tournaments, like this is it for them. This is like the highest level of basketball they're probably going to see because not everybody's going to make it to the NBA. So just the emotion, the winner go home like kind of mentality of like this tournament, like it's fun to watch. It's so great. And we are here for the bets for sure. And because there's going to be a lot of that. So for Mr. Chino, Patty Puts, I'm the real Chris Mack. This is Feast or Fumble, and we're out of here.